not even bothering to get us off the stage and pop us on. Just like we're here in the midst of it. Oh my god. I am David Bowles, everyone. Here with Hector Rodriguez, the mero mero. El tercero de los mero meros.
¿Ah? Meros meros, ¿verdad? Likewise.
El tercero de los meros meros. Yes, for those of you who don't know who we are, I'm David Bowles, writer, translator, professor, and co-publisher of Chispa Comics. And with me, of course, is my compadre, the other co-publisher of Chispa Comics, Hector Rodriguez, the third creator of the long-running indie superhero series El Peso Hero. Hey, Hector, how's it been? We haven't talked for a while.
Right, yeah. It's been quite busy. As you can see, I have an empty room now. Everything is cleared off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we are definitely moving.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Hector's moving on up. Have you already?
Yeah.
When is the final day?
Yeah, so this Thursday. So most of everything's already in a lot in a storage. It's been in the storage place, and so moving into a new area, and it's at the same time, a lot of fires in the iron, a lot of things going on. And so there's a lot of events have taken place since the last time we met here at Comics Carnales. We had a lot of unfortunate passings in our community.
Yeah.
Either from Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball. That one hit hard. I've never, usually, celebrity. I don't call him celebrity, but he creator. Ever since such a influential creative in our community. Being also, if you're Mexicano, Dragon Ball, and
yeah, I mean that was like one of the biggest shows in Mexico, well, around the world. But like growing up, if you were like for like my kids, that was like such an important series, and something they could watch in the U.S. and in Mexico whenever we were visiting relatives down in Monterrey. And so,
so he definitely, and in Mexico they had it first, and so that's where I was introduced by.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's right. If it was in Mexico before it came in an English translation to the U.S., that's pretty wild, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a wild trip in the '90s. I was visiting my cousins, and they have the sticker book album, and they're like, hey, what's Dragon Ball Z? And that's how I got hooked. And then I had a friend from Spain. He was interested in it, and so I'm like, it's Dragon Ball everywhere except the United States. And you're right. It wasn't until I was in high school Toonami hit, and then actually before that, it was on like really early morning showings with a different cast of voice actors. But yeah, I mean, and of course, in our Latino community, Ricardo Padilla passed away, and I was actually on the phone with Ricardo last month because we were just talking shop, we were talking about wrestling, and he really was planning on coming to Texas Latino Comic Con. He wanted to showcase his Voter Adventure comic, and I'm like, no, of course, brother. You always have a seat, you always have a table at our show at Texas Latino Comic Con, and now and forever he'll definitely be there at all the conventions supporting our community.
Very cool. Okay, so talking about changes and upheavals and so forth, listeners to this podcast and followers of Chispa will notice that there's been some adjustments in our schedule, and it's one of the reasons that we don't have invited guests tonight. It's really just more about getting folks caught up on the upcoming publications from Chispa, to give everybody a feel for what the release dates are going to be, and so forth for our upcoming titles. We've got lots of really great stuff, locked and loaded and ready to drop. And part of the adjustment comes from the fact that Scout has taken on some really really cool new investors, and injection of funding like that really helps to expand what Scout and therefore Chispa is able to do, and the number of titles that are able to be put out and so forth. And ultimately this is going to help the Latine comics creating community. But it is a bit of a hiccup, and so we just wanted to make sure that everybody understands what's going on. There's a soft, basically, reboot or relaunch of Scout coming in July, and so some of our titles have been kind of bumped a few months, and we just wanted to get people caught up. And, by the end of the fall, we will be back more or less on our regular schedule. But there's going to be some interesting things, including like multiple titles dropping in July, which is kind of exciting. So the first publication of this 2024 kind of like readjustment is going to be Gila Girl, right? And
right, excited for that creative team, and yeah,
Henry Barajas and Sally. Oh my God, what an incredible comic, with really cool lettering from Charlene Bowles. I was going to say no relation. Obviously, it's my daughter, right?
very talented,
Yeah, she's extremely talented. Written about it in the New York Times and stuff. So yeah, she's just because she's my daughter doesn't mean that it's not purely nepotism.
No, she applied. We looked over.
She applied. Yes, exactly. She's done, and she did the lettering on Dragon Thrall as well. She's really good.
100%.
But yeah, that comic is incredible, and Sally just knocked it out of the park. Great script from Henry Marajas. And so I'm really looking forward to that. That story is just so great. The kind of intersection of disability and Afro-Latinidad and stuff like that. And Henry just does such a great job. I mean, what he's doing on his, his daily comic strip that he does, which is just amazing that he got to take that over. It just shows you the depth of his empathy and his understanding of humanity and interpersonal relationships, and that just feeds over into Gila Girl. And just I think people are going to lose their minds.
Oh yeah, it's multi-layered. If you're a kaiju fan, there's some good Easter eggs there for you. So I got excited. I'm like, oh, she's speaking my language now.
Yeah. I thought it was really great. Such a great costume. Just a kick-ass character, a slightly more like traditional comic book style, maybe a little bit. Like, Sally's got something like that's special and a little bit different, but there's a lot of things that like there's a little bit more like what people are expecting out of a superhero kind of comic book. Some of our other comics have been some of the other origin stories of the 13 can be a little unconventional and so forth. I feel that this one is both really unique and cool, and also kind of more conventional in terms of pacing, because Henry and Sally are both they're veterans of the field, and they've done work for the big two, and they know what they're doing. So it's pretty 100%. Exciting.
So the FOC date for that is May 12th for Gila Girl. In stores, June 19th.
Awesome. And then in July, that's when we have our big launch, right? The big drop. So what do we got coming in July? We got multiple comics, right?
Yeah, Summer of Chispa, right? Begins with Gila Girl.
Summer of Chispa. Yeah. So if it's really hot, just think about that. It's like, oh snap, Chispa like lit a spark, and the whole thing is burning up. No, blame it on global warming. It's not us. We didn't. We didn't. It's the billionaires. It's not Chispa. And so what exactly do we have coming out that month?
Dragon Thrall. This is all a tentative lineup. We'll as soon as we'll get squared away the specific.
But these are the four that tentatively are set to drop in July, right?
Right. In this tentative order: Dragon Thrall.
Oh, in this tentative order, yeah.
Okay. Right. Vendaval, Cloudbreak, Fluorescent,
Yeah, so those are all four of them really really great. Dragon Thrall, of course, um, written by Veronique Medrano. Just a really great Tejano star and also a really great writer. And the illustrations in that book are just to die for. Just so so amazing. The watercolor kind of style,
Right.
just really it's great. People are going to love it. Again, great lettering by Charlene. um Vendaval, that is of course written by Texas poet laureate Irene Lara Silva, which is super cool. It's cool that we had one book already written by a poet laureate. We have another book written by a poet laureate. I think it's cool. Poets writing
It is.
writing comics, man. I think this should be like a new trend, because comics, they get like um how you're supposed to compress language and stuff like
Right.
that, which is really important for comics. And then of course, Cloudbreak uh, and Fluorescent are two really really cool, like I say, like kind of outside of the box, a little bit different from standard superhero stories. Cloudbreak, we've got a like a fat Latina superhero, which I think is amazing. And then Fluorescent is also, he's an unusual kind of character on his powers. So it's cool. I love when I think of, like, I don't know, Poison Ivy or Swamp Thing or any of these kind of plant wielding or communicating kind of beings. The place that Hector takes that kind of power in this book is really cool. Like the idea of having to negotiate with the plant kingdom and not just be able to order plants around. The plants have their own
Right.
opinions about
It's a
what.
balance. It's great with these creatives, with Cloudbreak, you have that amazing family dynamic that we talked about in a previous Carnales when we had them on board. With Fluorescent, yeah, it's that balancing of, not a very directive, one-way sided relationship, but it's a two-way relationship with nature.
Yep, which I think is super awesome. And then we're going to continue with like Chispa titles in August.
Oh, sorry.
Which,
We also have Dusk, 100%.
yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, Alex Segura's Dusk
Yeah,
is gonna the first graphic novel is going to be coming out this summer, and but we're first going to be dropping um a um a nonstop, like like issue number one, like a
right.
collectible. It'll be really great and like give you kind of a taste for what the graphic novel is going to be like. The graphic novel is coming out in September, but that number one collectible issue is coming out in July as well. So that's five Chispa titles that are set to drop in July.
It is
It's
getting
gonna be
great hype. I was at a show at my local comic book stop, and they were talking about the Dusk, and it was just that and of course they know Alex Segura, but it was, seeing what they have seen already from online, the orders. Yeah, it's the noir art style, very Batman animated
Yeah,
series.
very, very Batman. What was the name of the series? The Batman.
Animated series, Batman animated, yeah,
Yeah,
Batman
yeah.
animated series.
It's very, very similar to that, kind of like an Art Deco.
Right. So very Art Deco style. I think David Cadap will continue on the show. So it's actually, yeah. So July is the nonstop number one collectible, and so it's going to leave you with a really great taste. You will longing for more, And so, and that trade will drop in September. So you don't have a lot to wait, but it's going to give you a great view, a great entry into the world of the Dusk. And also in August, upcoming in August, we will continue on with the 13 Origins with Shaper. And we have also the return with Dusk actually, with Black Demon Descent #1. So we're continuing the story where we left off from Bea Gonzalez, going into Black Demon Descent, which is a continuation of Black Demon series. So if you haven't seen Black Demon, um, you can check it out in Black Demon. You go to Amazon, check it out. Black Demon. It's available for on Amazon, and that will give you a great view to the world grid entry, and also you can check out Black Demon Tales 1, 2, and 3, which they're available on the Scout website to order. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I was like babbling along and didn't even realize that I had cut out. And
No,
so
it's all right. I can see it.
sure.
We went to September and we talked about Black Demon Descent, and the show must go on, right?
Yes, thank you so much for that. All right, cool.
But yeah, Black Demon Descent, #1 coming out, the continuation.
Written by yours truly. Yeah.
100%.
So that Descent is going to be great. I think it's going to blow people's minds. It's such a cool arc that we've created that kind of is also like opening the door to the expansion of that Black Demon Tales universe, right, into a kaiju universe. So I'm excited for people to see that. And then of course we've got the Shaper, which is or just Shaper, which is the next in the origin stories of the 13, and that one is written and illustrated and lettered and colored and so forth by my really talented son. I'm already talking about my daughter, about my son. Angelo is doing this one, so I think people are going to be really surprised at how cool this story that he's telling is. I love it a lot. Then in September we've got lots of stuff coming again. The 13 Origins Blue Deer, which is written by me,
yes,
and illustrated by Armando Sanker. We've got the Dusk paperback coming out. We've got the second Black Demon Tales Descent coming out, which is written by you and illustrated by who's it illustrated by? Guillermo?
Vicenzo.
Vicenzo. Oh yeah.
Yeah, from Black Demon.
Yeah, Vincenzo Sansone. What Vincenzo Sansone. Vincenzo Sansone. Il mio fratello, my brother. Yeah, this is a great illustrator.
Colored by Guillermo, and so
colored by Guillermo. That's right, Guillermo Villarreal, who's also just un carnal del alma, right? He's a great guy.
Right, yeah. On the ready, 100%.
And that's also when we're going to be rolling out Wards of the World. This is a middle grade, like for like younger teen readers and like upper elementary or whatever, but it's also, trust me, it's a good read for the whole family. It's just you think about it being rated kind of like PG or something like that, G/PG. It's fun kaiju adventure for the whole family.
It's like almost the equivalent of one of those family movies on streaming that you would watch and you would get hooked on it. You would think, oh, well, it's a kid show. Oh wow, I recently saw one with oh my gosh, what was it? It was a Latino family, but it was the mom was white and dad was Latino.
Yeah.
It had Mexican American elements involved. I forgot it had. Oh my gosh, what's her name? On actress. Oh, she was Electra. What's her name?
Electra. Oh yeah. Jennifer Garner, right?
Jennifer Garner was the mom, and a Mexican American actor, a new guy, and it was like the fun day or so. Anyways, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, the story's a lot of fun. It's very character driven, a lot of fun characters. Written by yours truly, and so I really, I really went into my Mexican cinema, Mexican vault of knowledge of watching movies and shows, and dig into that.
Yeah, and I'm already getting excited about some of the initial art we're seeing. Oh my gosh, man! People are going to be blown away. Such good art, man. Absolutely. And we're going to be rolling out, and tentatively this is for September, but it may be pushed a month or two. We're not exactly sure. It's going to
Yeah, I know.
depend because it's taking just sometimes to roll things out, and that is the series called La Loba or Loba. We're also kind of trying to decide exactly what it's going to be called, from the mind of Diego Molano, and we're going to have more information about this really soon. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we can have him and his co-writer on in the next month or so. We'll arrange it. But yeah, definitely a really, really cool kind of like globe-trotting international intrigue story blended with werewolf and and so forth, lore, and a little bit of pop stardom. So a Latina pop star, 18 years old, who's can transform into like a werewolf, going on this globetrotting adventure trying to find her brother who's disappeared. So really, really cool story, great writing. It's going to be illustrated by Diego Molano, and but we'll have more information on that like forthcoming, just like within the next month.
Yeah, that
Just
was
trying
gonna
to
be a good one. Yeah,
just trying to hammer out some details. And then in October we've got Black Demon Tales Descent number 3. We're the final of our origin stories for the 13 drops. Coneja number 1, which is just great. I love the art so much on that one by Marta, and the writing by Kevin. It's just really, it's a great, it's like a nice way to wrap up the
it
13
is. It's a lot of
origin.
yeah. It's a lot of it's high octane, fast driven. Not
Yeah, Coneja is hilarious and just quirky and cute and silly. Just she's adorable. And Kevin, for whatever reason, like a 40-year-old pelado can write like a cute girl really well. So it's I don't know. I don't know what that is. He's been a teacher for so long. I imagine he's probably had lots and lots of students like her.
yeah, yeah,
And he just taps into that. So kudos to Kevin, who will also be working on the third of our Wards of the World series. You've written the first one. I'm writing the second issue. He'll be writing the third, and then you and I together will be writing the fourth. So yeah, in October, the second of Wards of the World drops. And then in November, oh, I'm sorry, I missed in October. We also have Katrina's Caravan Confrontation
oh,
starting up. Woohoo!
yeah. That was
Oh
gonna
my
be
god.
intense.
Yeah.
It's like everybody talking about Civil War movie, this and that. Oh my gosh, it's some like fascist, uh, like I don't say jerk off, but it's
Yeah.
it's a wet dream of.
And
But
Katrina's Caravan is like a confrontation is like a perfect counterbalance to that.
it is, it's what if all non-Latinos turn into ghouls slash zombies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's I'm gonna put
This
that
is a
seed.
great story from Hector.
Yeah.
I love the cover so much on that one. That's just such a cool cover.
Right. Yeah. It's so it's like the actual story itself is the last Latinx, last
Yeah.
Latinx. And I'm just gonna plant that seed right now in your head. What if all non-Latinos turn
Became
into
zombies. Yeah, ghouls.
zombies,
Yeah.
ghouls, zombies, yeah, like
I love it.
demons. Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
more in the story. It's more in the story, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but that's the basic premise, which is like a really cool premise. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. And then if Loba does launch in September, then we would have the second one in October, and then in November we wrap up Black Demon Tales Descent with like its explosive conclusion. I should
Yeah.
have mentioned that this Black Demon's Descent number 3 is written by Veronique Medrano, and that's a badass story.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. It's also illustrated by the awesome Armando Zanker. And then we've got another Katrina's Caravan. That one is going to be written by me. And then we have the first of our 13 miniseries. So all the members of 13 are together now. We've seen their origin stories, and we're going into Rise of the Five, which is a 6-issue miniseries penned by Terry Blas. Super excited for people to see that. And we will continue with Awards of the World that month as well. So yeah, lots of really, really exciting projects coming down the pipe. And for those of you who stuck with us and hung in there as we tried to, readjust things, you're gonna be well rewarded with just a plethora of stuff. Just more chispa goodness than you can handle, basically.
But I mean, we take a moment. This has never been done in the industry.
Yeah.
So many Latine Latino titles rolling out.
In
You
one
know,
year, yeah.
in 1 year. I mean, never. I mean, you'll have maybe Marvel, or DC will have their token. Or I mean, not to the voices. Well, but with good intentions. But I mean, Chispa is the first, company to actually roll these titles with, you know, very consistently, and not also that, but it definitely with different writers and artists from across different spans of those from different backgrounds, creative backgrounds, as well as even those starting out their making their own comics, for the first time, those that are dipping their toes, us giving those opportunities for those new voices to come in,
Yeah.
as well as the veterans, that have been, paving the way for us to make sure that we have a place in the industry. Uh, but it's something very special, and we're just very thankful that we have this opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And it is a new thing. It is groundbreaking. It's novel. It's important. I mean, I'm not saying that like Hector and I are important people, but like this work that we're doing is important, and that's why, even in the through the more difficult moments and so forth, when we're kind of like where anybody else would be like, you know what, I'm done. We're like, no, we're gonna stick with it because it's important that we see this thing happen, that we actually bring these comics into people's hands. It's a wonderful opportunity, and it is a blessing to be a part of it. So um, we just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we're still here. You haven't seen Chispa titles dropping in the last couple of months, but they are going to be dropping in droves really soon. So just, mark your calendars. May through November is going to just be an onslaught in the best of all possible ways. A good onslaught. Like
Yeah,
the overwhelmingness where you're like, yes, give me more. Yeah. Like, how it is when you finish a series and it's so good. You're
yeah.
like, what? I need another season right now. They're like, new season in 2025. You're like, nah.
Yeah, like 2 years from now, or like that
Yeah,
was like we
yeah,
just finished. We just finished Fallout, and we were surprised Eric Estrada was has a cameo for. I mean, no spoilers, but I mean it's not a
yeah,
spoiler, but it's just
yeah, yeah. No, it's really
like,
cool.
hey, there's Latinos in Fallout.
Yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, Eric Estrada. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, we could have used a few more, but it was still good. I mean,
Sure, we could.
yeah.
Especially
And so, I mean, that's exactly the show I was referring to. And I was like, yeah, the second season, but it won't be till like the end of 2025 or whatever. So people are like, what? I have to wait till then. It's an expensive show to make, guys. It's a little bit cheaper to make comics, but there's still expenses involved, like paying people, decent page rates and stuff like that. We don't only want to publish Latino stuff. We want to pay Latin as well, and so that all that requires some finessing and some getting of investors and so forth, uh, because you're taking a chance. Like Hector said, this has never been done before. At first, people are like, "Well, but it will reach eventually like this point of critical mass, and then it will just of its own its own momentum continue rolling down the road, and it'll be great. So yeah, thank you, Hector, for getting together with me tonight to chat people up and get them caught up on things. um Short podcast tonight, guys, but
yeah,
look for us in 2 more weeks with one of our regular podcast interviewing people. Very likely it'll be. We'll have to see if we can get them both because Sally's living in France, and so it's not always the easiest thing in the world. We're going to try to get Henry and Sally on to chat
yeah.
about Gila Girl, so that'll be really, really great. So look for an announcement in the next week or so, and you guys take care. Read lots of comics, especially comics by Latines, as much as you possibly can.
100%.
Yeah. Anything else? Any last messages we want to send out before we go?
Well, if you all have a moment, you guys can go to hit the link with the Ringo Awards. Do a shout out.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. Yes, vote for your favorite Chispa creators and comics and so forth for the Ringo Awards. That's awesome. We would really appreciate it.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Take care of yourself. We will see you soon, buddy.
See ya.
I think you put it in a private chat. You might want to put it in regular.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some shout
A little bit of rainy music. Take us out. See you later.